I begin, as always, with a matchless, glorious, and precious name of the Lord Jesus Christ. This video is going to be a review of The Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 11, I Ain't a Judas. So, this is a strange episode. This is one of the first few episodes where we don't see that much action in there and things like that. It's like, look at that. Oh, and by the way, the title "I Ain't a Judas" is a reference to Judas Iscariot, who betrayed my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for 30 pieces of silver. So you could read that as I ain't a traitor" or something. So, just opens up with a prison at the prison with Rick and his company just deciding what they're gonna do. Next, Herschel saying they should leave, Rick saying they should stay, and as they're debating that, Merle Dixon, who's being locked away, says that first attack on the prison was just the beginning. So, yeah, and after that, Rick goes out to look out of the front yard, and he sees walkers everywhere. And then his son comes out and says that he should stop being leader, and let somebody like Daryl take place, which which wouldn't be a very bad idea given that Rick is nearly off his rocker these days. And then then the show cuts to the theme music, and then it goes back, and then we go to Andrea, who is very angry that the governor lied to her and launched an assault on the prison anyway, and then acts as Milton Mammoth to cover for her as she is heading to the as she says she's heading to the prison, and then she heads down to the and then she goes to take a walker and then use it basically the same way Michonne used her two walker pets. And a surprise is we come across Tyrese again. See them again as they probably left the prison. And I'll get back to Andrea, and then we go to Tyrese and his group go to Woodbury, which is not surprising given that they see that Rick is off his rocker. Hopefully they won't fight again. They'll see the governor's monstrosity and then leave and probably go back to the prison, because no matter what they think of Rick, they'll probably want to go back because everybody else seemed pretty good, decent. Anyway, Andrea heads to the prison, and when she gets there, she's almost being treated like a traitor. So, and basically when she gets there, they fill her, Rick and the rest of the group fill her in on the character deaths, because as you know, Andrea was separated from the group before she was aware of Shane's demise, and she doesn't even know that Teal'c and Lori are dead either. So everybody else cut them in. Everybody filled her in on the events that passed. That she's separated. Oh, and by the way, I need to say this: Woodbury is now starting looking for soldiers in an army and the governor says that the term adolescence was an invention for the 20th century, which I have to agree with. So, back to things at the prison. Michonne and Andrea talk, and Michonne tells her that the governor sent men after her, which causes Andrea to cry, and we get a little bit more character development from her. And for the first time we see her smile. She said she went back to Woodbury to go for Andrea's sake, which is amazing. Now, going on, seems like the only person who is on friendly terms with Andrea these days is Carol, which isn't surprising because Andrea saved Carol's life at the end of season 2, and Carol is very grateful for that. So Carol just fills her in on the death of Shane and why Shane was killed, namely because of Rick, because Shane was trying to kill Rick, and then Carol is I'm loving Carol's character. She says she gives her idea. She tells her to sleep with the governor, give him the greatest night of his life, and then put him to death. brilliant plan. Brilliant plan, in my opinion. My opinion. Anyway, she goes back to so one of the people there offer her a car, and then she gets back to Woodbury, and then she decide goes back to Woodbury, and then she decides to go with the governor. Go with Carol's plan. Go with. Oh wait, hold on. Let me rewind that. She goes back to Woodbury, and then she heads to the meets the governor, who by this point has donned the eye patch that he's famous for in the comic books as his comic books. She decides to give him the follow through most of Carol's plan. She decides to give him the greatest night of his life, and she contemplates considering the next part of the plan. Holds a knife in her hand and is about on the verge of killing killing him when she decides not to go through with it. But I'm not complaining. If Angela killed off the governor, then there would be no more bad guy for the rest of the season. Back at the prison, Rick says he needs to make a run. Says to everybody else he needs to make a run, and he decides to take Carl and Michonne with him. I guess we'll have to see what happens in the next. Guess we'll see what those three go through in the next episode. By the way, an amazing episode. Even though it didn't have much action, it was still great. I will still have to give it a. But then again, it's a good episode. It doesn't have much action. But then again, it can't be all action every week. So I'll just have to give it. I don't normally do this, but I'll have to give this episode a 7.9. That's it. All right. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. God bless you all.